Come on, come in. Welcome, welcome.
What's up? I don't know why I said it like that. Daylight savings time. Happy daylight savings. Although it's not happy because daylight savings time is a joke and we shouldn't have daylight savings time. The only good thing is that you get an extra hour of sleep. But does anybody really feel well rested after that extra hour of sleep? I would say no. Revenant, thanks for the gifted membership. And Jay Rambles Universe gets the gifted. Well done. I think they need to just get rid of it. They almost got rid of it. Our government was one step away from getting rid of it, and they didn't vote on it because they're incompetent. All government is incompetent. Let's be realistic. But so annoying. They were so close during COVID to getting rid of daylight savings time, and this year would have been the second year that we just got rid of daylight savings time, and we would have had better. My dog is looking at me like I'm crazy over here. It's ridiculous. Yeah, they don't vote on things that are cool. I know the vote was going to be it was ridiculous. Yeah, I'm agreed. We need to stay on daylight savings because this is when daylight savings time ends, correct? We need to continue daylight savings the entire thing. Yeah, this is deep politics. Also, I did change the stream because I kind of misunderstood daylight savings time. I always get confused about it. So I was planning to do this stream at 1:30, but I was like, oh, I probably will have to set it for an hour ahead so that when the clock gets set back, but I didn't need to do that. So I just had to reset it last night or like yesterday, mid-morning or mid-afternoon or something like that. Pal. Yeah, of course I'm going to misinterpret things. It's my first read-through. You got to give me a break here. Yeah, we need to keep to one or the other. There's no real reason for daylight savings time one or the other. Like, what's the purpose of the holiday? Or not holiday, what's the purpose of it? Just the thing. It's just so annoying. I mean, I like gaining, and the only good thing that you get is you gain an extra hour of sleep. But I'd rather it be darker earlier and lighter later. Like, it's going to get dark in... What time is the sunset today? You're in New Jersey. Sunsets 4:51. How depressing is that? And for the next month, the sun's gonna set at 4. Ugh. That's just awful. Yeah, where did it come from? I wasn't about farmers in World War I or something like that. It did make it a plot point for National Treasure, which is a national treasure of a movie. That's a great movie. I'm glad you're looking forward to the reading. I'm excited to read. I haven't read a chapter in 2 weeks, so I'm dying to read. Last 2 weeks have been busy, so finally getting back to it. We'll see what this chapter has. I don't really know what to expect. Growing their crops on the computers. Doesn't make sense for farmers either. It was for World War I. What was the purpose of it for World War I? I think voting was for farmers. I think voting on Tuesday was apparently for farmers or something like that. They should just... I mean, voting is becoming better in the States with early voting and all that kind of stuff. You can kind of just go like 2-ish weeks before and do early voting, like almost at any time. So it's kind of great. But it's still a mess. To save on electricity? It was to conserve lamp oil? No way. And so we still have a stupid thing in place for when they were trying to conserve lamp oil. How dumb is that? Yeah, and it's so confusing if you're in a place where you don't, like Arizona and Hawaii don't have daylight savings time. And so it's probably so confusing for them when the rest of the country does it and they don't. And why do they have it? Why can't our I'm going to stop going on rampages. Anyway, welcome guys. I hope your weekend's going good. It's a beautiful weekend out here near New York City. John rants daylight savings. I should just start a whole new channel where I just make videos about daylight savings and how stupid it is. Look into the history of it. Wes, You already look like you want to go for a walk, but we're not. We have like a few hours before we go for a walk. So just relax. Take a nap on the bed, buddy. He's just sitting and looking at me on the bed, giving me a real guilty look. Yeah, rant or rampage. Either one. I think if the states made it, I think it should just be universal. I think if the states made it right, every other state would do things different, and it would be so confusing. Here, I'll take a picture of Wes. This is him looking at me right now. Look how cute he is, guys. That's literally him right there, looking at me on the bed. He's the greatest dog ever. I love that dog. I think Arizona and Hawaii are the only two states that don't. I think. Well, you should roll your eyes every time your husband rolls his eyes, every time you talk about daylight savings time. The next two chapter titles are my Juan. That's right. I gotta get a dog named Juan. The Last Debate and the Black Gate Opens. And then that's the end of book 5, and I only have one book left. I'm actually sad that I'm gonna finish this book for the first time. But then I'm joyful that I get to read it over and over and over again. But you only have your first time once, you know? Yeah, Hawaii for sure makes sense. They're like, is Hawaii kind of on the equator? No, Hawaii's not. It's closer to the equator though. It's Fort Street, John, British Columbia. Ooh, yeah, where's everybody at? What countries are you guys living in? Sorry to the Canadians in the chat who lost the World Series yesterday. It's a little bit of a bummer because I'm not the biggest baseball fan, but most U.S. people don't love the Dodgers that much. But I'm like a Northeasterner. So you're like a Yankees or a Mets or a Boston fan. And none of us really like the Dodgers all that much. America. I've never been to Hawaii. Ooh, West Africa. Cool. Oh, yeah, I kind of think I need that. Norway, Serbia, Canada, Spain. Dang, we got people from everywhere. Finland. Dang it. It probably gets dark, you know. What hour does it get dark in Finland? I'm guessing northern Finland, it's probably like dark right now, like 1 o'clock. Croatia, Serbia. We got a lot of Croatians and Serbs here. Hungarian, Denmark, Germany, England. Nice. I love that. UK. Cumbria. I remind you of your dad at this time of the year? What does that mean? No, that's good. Nevada. Missouri. Ireland, Northern Virginia, New Zealand. G'day, mate. No, that's Australian. G'day, mate. That's more like New Zealand. My accent needs some work. Anytime I think of a New Zealand accent, I just think of Taika Waititi and I try to do his accent. Or one of the greatest movies ever, The Hunt for the Wilder People. You're from the True North, Canada. The True North is like northern Alaska, Tennessee. I'm repping New Jersey, the great state of New Jersey. We're actually the country of New Jersey. We're the only state that really says we're the country of New Jersey. Changing the clocks in autumn. Germany, Cornwall. Peter Jackson. Jersey. Procliff. We got other languages going on right here. Never read Baron and Luthien. I'm excited to read it. I haven't read anything else. I've read The Hobbit when I was in middle school. So I'm going to read it. You know what? I actually don't think Jersey people have an accent. I mean, if you go to certain parts of Jersey, you're going to find an accent. But most people from Jersey don't have an accent. They talk like me. They just talk kind of fast. But I don't really think I talk all that fast. If you Winnipeg Jets game, you'll hear very clearly that we are the True North. Good to know. Texas definitely is its own country. Lived in Texas for a little while. Did not get used to it. But Jersey just has like a different, flavor. Also, we're going to start the read in 15 minutes. We're just going to chill. We always do this. Just hang out, chill. I get a ton and turn the light on. It's already getting dark, which is so depressing. You watch me at 0.5 speed for real? Is English your first language? I feel like I talk slow on video. Most people watch me at 1.5 speed or 2 speed. Yeah, I definitely have like somewhat of an East Coast accent. South New England accent. Yeah. Degali. Dang. Greenland. Wow, that's crazy. I would love to live in Greenland. Actually, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think you can watch 1.5 speed. I mean, if you're behind, maybe you can like catch up watching 1.5 speed. You read the Silmarillion in 2.5 days and understood about 2% of it. That's why I'm going to read it super slow. And I'm excited to do it on live read because I'm going to have you guys to help me explain things, or you guys to explain things to me. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be like a group read. It's going to be a project. I'm pretty pumped to read that. I'm really excited to read that. Yeah, I don't think anybody from New Jersey really talks that slow. It's like a common thing in New Jersey that we just talk fast. Like New York and New Jersey people, they talk fast. 3 weeks of essays off the prologue alone. Legitimately, that's why I think I'm gonna have to read it so slow, because I think it's gonna be like encyclopedic. I think every single paragraph is gonna have its own essay. So I think there's just gonna be a lot of essays that come out of the Silmarillion. So that's probably why I think I'm gonna finish it in like 3 years. I think it's legitimately gonna take me like 2 to 3 years. Oh yeah, Jersey driving. I feel like I do kind of talk at a normal speed, but. Which one's a tearjerker? Baron Luthien? I'm pretty excited for all of them. Baron Luthien, I keep hearing is great. So yeah, and when I read the Silmarillion, like I think, what is it? The first chapter is the Children of Húrin, or the third chapter or something. So as soon as I get to that chapter, I won't read that chapter, and then I'll read the Children of Húrin. So that's why it's going to take me even slower, because as soon as I start the Silmarillion, I think I'm going to stop and read the Children of Húrin. And every other chapter that comes close to it, you guys need to tell me what other books are attached to it. Because I know The Fall of Gondolin is a book, and I know Baron and Luthien is a book, and there's a few other ones, right? Children of Húrin is chapter 21 in the Silmarillion? Wow. Oh, so we got a while to get there. Okay. I don't know. I would like to read the poem version. I think that would take me longer to read. Are there 2 different versions? I'm guessing is there one in the Baron Luthien and The Fall of Gondolin aren't normal books. Just read the Silmarillion chapters. Okay. Yeah, I need you guys to help me figure some of that kind of stuff out. The poem is called The Lay of Luthien. Lay of Luthien or The Lay of Lathian? So the poem is unfinished, but good. I would still like to read the poem. I'm sure the poem won't take me that long to read. Is it an epic poem? I might get very confused by non-canon details. So, oh, interesting. The poem is 4,000 lines. That's long, but that's not crazy. That's like a book. Luthien, not Luthien. Okay, interesting. It has strange things in it, like calling Sauron Thu. Weird. So it's gonna be fun though, because like I know some people when they read the Silmarillion or they read any other book, they have to like have an index attached, and they're like going to the back all the time and flipping back and forth. You guys are just gonna be my index. I'm gonna be reading and I'm gonna finish one sentence and go, what the heck are they talking about? I'm gonna look over to chat, and you guys are gonna fill me in, and then I'm gonna read the next sentence. I'm gonna go, who's Thu? You guys are gonna fill me in. So I feel like it's gonna be pretty fun when we kind of like co-read that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The lay the air one sings in the Fellowship. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped to reread The Lord of the Rings. So I don't know what my goal is gonna be. I think my goal is gonna be read The Hobbit after this, and then go through the Silmarillion with all of his other books in the next few years, and then probably reread Lord of the Rings. I'm excited to reread it, but I'll probably reread chapters of Lord of the Rings here and there. Yeah, when I reread Lord of the Rings, all the songs are gonna be sung. I'm gonna really dress it up. I'll do all voices. I'll drive you guys crazy by doing that. Nemo, what's up? Looking forward to the important bits from Unfinished Tales. Interesting. Okay. I know I could just change it to second timers or 50th timers or whatever, or fifth timers. I just got to keep the FT. No matter what I do, I'll do something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I really probably should have renamed my channel first than something other than first timers, but oh well. That's like my theme. Just first time reads for a bunch of different books. Man, my dog is so cute. He's just sitting in the bed over there. Just laying down, sleeping. Yeah, I think I'll probably try to read some of the songs in The Hobbit, although there are a lot of songs in The Hobbit, right? Yeah. Yeah, first timers is just kind of how you guys know me, so it just makes sense to keep it as first timers, you know what I mean? Now, I mean, yeah, we can make some, okay, guys, let's try to figure this out. I have to keep the FT. I'm going to keep the FT. But if only an hour more, no, I promise, 10 minutes or 5 minutes and we'll start. So let's do this. Let's do this exercise. We have to keep the FT. It could be fourth timers, but it could also be something totally different. It could be, I know there's Feanor as a character. It could be Feanor's thoughts, like the FT. Frequent timers, fifth timers, finished tales. That's actually kind of good. Fantasy talkers is kind of great. I love fantasy talkers. Fiction travelers, kind of like that. Fun timers, I'm into it. Feanor's thoughts. I don't know who Feanor is. Doesn't Feanor have like a sad, tragic ending? Or someone has one. Húrin has, I think a lot of people have sad, tragic endings. Fellowship of the Timers is kind of great. The Fellowship Timers. The Fellowship Thoughts. Faramir's Tales is actually kind of great. Feanor's Tirades. Feanor is a villain? Oh, interesting. I don't know if I want to name... Oh, Frodo's Thoughts is kind of great. Yeah, I know. I feel like I gotta hold on. I can't look at anything else. The Fellowship of Tales. I like that. Kind of like something attached to Fellowship. Yeah, Fellowship. Frodo's Tales. I love Frodo. Frodo's a great character. Faramir's tangents. I don't know. F this. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. F this. Fellowship of Tolkien. I kind of like that one. Famous Tales. Furry Toes. Legitimately, Furry Toes is phenomenal. Ryan, you're onto something. Fangorn's Tales is kind of good. Fantastic Tales. Fresh Takes. Ooh, Fresh Takes is kind of good. Famous Tales. Hobbit Talk. Hobbit Talk doesn't work with the F. Furry Toes is kind of great. Fan of Tolkien. Yeah, Fan of Tolkien works. Forever Talking. Not reading. I told you we're going to start in 5 minutes. Everyone liked the stream, by the way, too. More people will watch if you like the stream, and I don't have to keep ranting on and on about liking the stream. You know what I mean? Read and find out. I should rename the channel Read and Find Out. Faramir Theoden. Honestly, Faramir Theoden kind of works. Faramir Theoden. What are What is Faramir's last name? Has anybody done a study in that? Does Gimli have a last name? Why do some characters like hobbits have... Why is it like Bilbo Baggins of Bag End and it's Gimli, son of Glóin? Son of Denethor, son of Glóin. Interesting. It was a random thought that came to my mind. But elves have last names, no? Isn't what is Arwen's? Isn't it Arwen Indomniel or whatever? What does Indomniel mean? Gimli Gloinson. That kind of makes sense. Legolas Thranduil. Oh, just means son of Thranduil. Oh, interesting. Elves have titles. Undomiel is Evenstar. Okay, gotcha. Oh, or Evening Star. Elrond Half-Elven. Yeah, that's his last name. Half-Elven. Peter, son of Jack. Jack's son. Oh, yes. Peter, son of Jack. That's actually a good one. Faramir of the House of Stewarts. Poor guy. Oh, that's interesting that Frodo code switched from talking to Faramir, calling himself Frodo, son of Drogo. That's kind of cool. I like that. Legolas Greenleaf is just a translation of Legolas. Interesting. Faramir McDenethor. Legitimately? That is great. Faramir McDenethor. That is phenomenal. I love that. All right, everyone. It's reading time. Frodo code switching is one thing that makes him annoying to you? I think that's brilliant. I think code switching is brilliant. How does that make him annoying? Lord McVader. Yeah, if your name is Hobbit, good luck. Your name is just gonna keep popping up every single time. All right, everyone, like the stream. There's 46 likes and 120 people watching. Imagine if I was one of those streamers that said, I'm not gonna start reading until we have 100 likes on the stream. I'm not that kind of person, so we're just gonna start reading. The last debate. This is chapter... Oh, I just lost my place. Chapter 9, right? Chapter 9, the last debate. He's a beer maker? Barliman? Barliman just is like barman. Thinks he's brain maxing. He's so smart. He can code switch. He's a barley man. Yeah. He's a burly man. His brother is Burly Man, and he's Barley Man. Superhero of Middle Earth. Ah, Michael. That's so sweet. Buy me the Christopher Lee audiobook. I would love that. That'd be fun to just listen to that on my walks. Oh, maybe that'd be a tragic walk. Christopher Lee reading that would be so excellent. I love that he actually read that. That makes me happy. He's got a great voice. All right, everyone, here we go. We're gonna start with the last debate. The last debate. This is... One second. Something weird just happened. All right. I don't know what this chapter is really about, but we'll see. I'm guessing this is just a debate that Aragorn... I'm going to guess it's just a debate that Aragorn and Gandalf are having with each other. Maybe a battle of wills for them. That'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see Aragorn and Gandalf kind of face off and talk about what they think is wisest. That'd be kind of fascinating. I would like that, actually. Ooh, yeah. A little clip of Lee reading Children of Húrin. I would love that. Gimli dies in this chapter? If Gimli dies. If Gimli dies, I'll quit. My YouTube channel is done. I would quit immediately. I'd be so mad. All right, here we go. Got my pencil. Get comfortable, everyone. Everyone go get a cup of tea or something stronger or a large brandy. I don't really like brandy all that much. Anyway, okay, this is the last debate. Chapter 9 of The Lord of the Rings, Part 3, which is really Part 5, The Return of the King. Oh, not Part 5. Book 5 of The Return of the King. No, Book 5 of The Lord of the Rings, Part 3, The Return of the King. Chapter 9, the last debate. The morning came after the day of battle, and it was fair with light clouds, and the wind turning westward. And if the wind is turning westward, does that mean it's blowing from east to west or west to east? The wind turns westward. So they're not getting the Mordor smell. I'm guessing it's going from east to west, or from west to east. The wind turns westward. Sorry, I'm already hung up at the first sentence. I'm guessing the wind is blowing back toward Mordor, so they're not getting the bad smell of Mordor anymore. And the clouds are going back over to Mordor. West to east. Okay, that makes sense. A west wind blows from the west. Okay, perfect. Excellent. Ah, Shattermelon, thank you. Distraction money. Thanks for the $10. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So that's good. They're not getting the smog of Mordor. Not smog like dragon. I get you distracted. Okay. Legolas and Gimli were early abroad, and they begged to leave to go up into the city, for they were eager to see Merry and Pippin. Aww, that's cute. Cuties. It is good to learn that they are still alive, said Gimli, for they cost us great pains in our march over Rohan, and I would not have such pains all wasted. Together, the elf and the dwarf entered Minas Tirith, and folk saw them pass, marveled to see such companions. Wait, and folk that saw them pass marveled to see such companions. Oh, this is cool. For Legolas was fair of face beyond the measure of men, and he sang an elven song in a clear voice as he walked in the morning. But Gimli stalked beside him, stroking his beard and staring about him. There is some good stonework here, he said as he looked up at the walls. If it's hitting Gimli's approval, then you're kind of good. As he looked at the walls, but also some that is less good, and the streets could be better contrived. When Aragorn comes into his own, I shall offer him the services of the stone rights of the mountains, and we will make this a town to be proud of. That's so cool. I really hope that happens. If that happens, I'm hoping we get some appendix note that says that happens, because that would be excellent. They need more gardens, said Legolas. The houses are dead, and there is too little that grows and is glad. If Aragorn comes into his own, the people of the wood shall bring him birds that sing, and trees that do not die. I love this. I love this so much. I really hope we get an appendix note on that. Incredible. At length, they came to the Prince Emerhill, and Legolas looked at him and bowed low, for he saw that here indeed was one who had elven blood in his veins. Really? Have I known that before? Hail Lord, he said. It is long since the people of Nimrodel left the woodlands of Lorien. And yet still one may see that not all sailed from Amaroth's haven west over water. So it is said in the lore of my land, said the prince. Yet never has one of the fair folk been seen there for years beyond count. And I marvel to see one here now in the midst of sorrow and war. What do you seek? Hold on. It is long since the people of Nimrodel. Where have I heard Nimrodel before? Wasn't there a song about Nimrodel? Is Beren and Luthien that's in Lorien? Okay, Lorien. Nimrodel was a river. Oh yeah, okay, hold on. That was one of my questions too. At length. But hold on, this sentence is confusing to me. At length, they came to the Prince Emerhil, and Legolas looked at him and bowed low. For he saw that here indeed was one who had elven blood in his veins. No, that's talking about... That has to be talking about the prince, no? The prince has elven blood in his veins. Am I reading that wrong? Emerhil should have. It's talking about Emerhil. Some distant ancestry. That's so cool. Wait, so Nimrodel. Hold on, I gotta catch up. A river named after the elf maiden. Nimrodel was also an elf maiden, a river or an elf maiden. Okay. Jonathan, what a great name. Oh my gosh, that's a great name. Jonathan 9799. Welcome to the Hot Tamales. So the people of Nimrodel, they're elvish? Where is Nimrodel? Is that in Middle Earth or is that in the east or in the west? Is it in Lorien? Oh, it's in Lorien. In Lorien. Oh, the Nimrodel. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm remembering this. Oh, left in the woodlands of Lorien. Duh. And yet still one may see that not all sailed from Amaroth's haven west over water. Where's Amaroth's haven? And they sailed west, so they went back to the lands. So this is the people of Nimrodel that are sailing back to the Undying Lands, but not all the people left? Or is he talking about something ancient? Nimrodel and Amaroth, who were the king of Lorien, went south to the sea. Amaroth died at the place known as Dol Amroth now. Oh, crazy. Yeah, that makes sense. So, oh, interesting. So he died there, but I'm sure there's probably still some... That's crazy. That's really cool. So Dol Amroth is a land that is kind of like a little intermingled. With it's interesting that blood in this the blood mixing in this book is really strange, like the blood mixing with Numenorians and just becoming men. Reread the Song of Nimrodel. That's in the first book, I'm guessing, right? Maybe I'll reread that right now. Is it long? Would it be worthwhile to reread that real quick? I kind of want to reread that. Everyone, hold, sorry. Dude, this is a really distracted reading so far. Okay, I'll read it. All right, we got it. Yeah. Read it only if I sing it. I'm guessing this is in the Lorien chapter or the Mirror of... No, it wouldn't be in the Mirror of Galadriel chapter 8. Or Farewell to Lorien? Oh, Hobbit! 5 gifted members, thank you. That's incredible. David, congrats. Guys, congrats. Thank you. Right after Moria. Okay, right, the Lothlorien chapter. The beginning of the Lothlorien chapter, I'm guessing. I'm guessing it's in poetic form, so I can find it easy. There she is. Do you hear the voice of Nimrodel? Asked Legolas. I will sing you a song of the maiden Nimrodel, who bore the same name. Michael, thanks for the $5. This is a chapter that has my favorite beautiful Gimli moment talking about Aragorn. For real? Okay, I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I can't wait. I love a good line like that. I was singing a song of the maiden Nimrodel, who bore the same name as the stream beside which she lived long ago. It is a fair song in our woodland tongue, but this is how it runs in the western speech. As some in Rivendell now sing it in a soft voice, hardly to be heard amid the rustle of the leaves above them, he began. An elven maid there was of old, a shining star by day. Her mantle white was hemmed with gold, her shoes of silver gray. Well, this is an easy one to sing. Should I try singing this one, or is that too embarrassing? An elven maiden there was of old, a shining star by day. Her mantle white was hemmed with gold, her shoes of silver gray. A star was bound upon her brow. Immediately, no. When there's a star on the brow, does that mean someone's wearing a crown? Does that just mean royalty? Because it says that a lot in this. People are coming down with stars on their brow. Is that just like is it like Vision in what is that movie called? A circlet? What's a circlet? Do not sing. It's just a gem worn on the forehead. You guys can sing. I'm just going to read this one. And then on my second read through of Lord of the Rings, I'll sing all the songs for you, I promise. And then when I do The Hobbit, I'll sing all the songs for you. But right now, I'm just going to read this. So it's like a metal headband. Doesn't Arwen wear something like that in the books or in the movies? I think I remember that. Anyway, I'm getting too distracted. An elven maiden there was of old. But it does. My question is, it doesn't signify royalty, or does it? Is it just like a fashion? Yeah, Galadriel wears one. That's right. An elven maid there was of old, a shining star by day. Her mantle white was hemmed with gold, her shoes of silver gray. She's got some style. A star was bound upon her brow, a light was on her hair, as sun upon the golden boughs and Lorien the fair. Her hair was long, her limbs were white, and fair she was and free. And in the wind she went as light as leaf of linden tree. Beside the falls of Nimrodel, by water clear and cool, her voices falling silver fell into the shining pool. Is this where the Mirror of Galadriel comes from? No. No. No? On the third read, I sing every word. Most people don't want me to sing. That's why I'm not reading this one. On the second read, we'll do a sing. I'll do a sing through. Okay, good. Now, well, where she wanders, where she wanders, none can tell, in sunlight or in shade. For lost of yore was Nimrodel, and in the mountain strayed. The elven ship in haven gray, beneath the mountain lee, awaited for her many a day, beside the roaring sea. A wind by night in northern lands arose, and loud it cried, and drove the ship from elven strands across the streaming tide. When dawn came, dim the land was lost, the mountains sinking gray. Beyond the heavy beyond the heaving waves that toss their plumes of blinding spray. Hold on, in northern lands. It doesn't tell me why she's wandering. Beside the falls of Nimrodel, by water clear and cool, her voice is falling silver fell. Where now she wanders, none can tell. And sunlight orange shade for lost in the mountain strayed. The elven ship in haven gray beneath the mountain lee, awaited for her many a day beside the roaring sea. A wind by night in northern lands arose and loud it cried, and drove the ship from elven strands across the streaming tide. When dawn came dim, the land was lost, the mountains sinking gray, beyond the heaving waves that tossed their plumes of blinding spray. Amroth beheld the fading shore, now low beyond the swell, and cursed the faithless ship that bore him far from Nimrodel. Oh, so they're in love? Of old he was an elven king, a lord of tree and glen. When golden were the boughs in spring, and fair Lothlorien. From helm to sea they saw him leap, as arrow from the string, and dive into the water deep, and mew upon the wing. The wind was in his flowing hair, the foam about him shone. Afar they saw him strong and fair, go riding like a swan. Swan! That's the swans of Dol Amroth. That's why their flag is a swan. Dude, that's so cool. No way. That is the greatest flag ever. No way. That's so sick. But from the west has come no word, and on the hither shore no tidings elven folk have heard of Amroth evermore. Did he drown? Wait, did he drown? Oh, that's awful. We're gonna find out in 10 years. It's for sure going to take us 10 years to get there. That's so sad. But where the heck was Nimrodel? What, is she just wandering around? So Nimrodel and Amroth were both elven. Was Amroth at that time a city of elves and that men just took it over? Wait, sorry. Yeah, the voice of Legolas faltered and the song ceased. I cannot sing anymore, he said. There's more of the song, but he can't sing anymore? Are you kidding me? That is but a part, for I have forgotten much. You liar, Legolas. It is long and sad, for it tells how sorrow came upon Lothlorien of the Blossom, when the dwarves awakened evil in the mountains. But the dwarves did not make the evil, said Gimli. I said not so, yet evil came, answered Legolas sadly. Then many of the elves of Nimrodel's kindred left their dwellings and departed. And she was lost far in the south, in the passes of the White Mountains, and she came not to the ship where Amroth, her lover, waited for her, but in the spring, when the wind is in new leaves, the echo of her voice may still be heard by the falls that bear her name. When the wind is on the south, the voice of Amroth comes up from the sea, for Nimrodel flows into the Silverlode. that elves call Celebrant, and Celebrant into Anduin the Great, and Anduin flows into the Bay of Belfalas, whence the elves of Lorien set sail, but neither Nimrodel nor Amarath ever came back. It is told that she had a house built in the branches of a tree that grew near the falls, for that was the custom of the elves of Lorien to dwell in the trees, and maybe it is still so. Therefore they were called Galadriel, the tree people. Deep in their forest, the trees are very great. The people of the woods did not delve into the ground like dwarves, nor built strong places of stone before the shadow came. So the dwarves woke up the Balrog, and the elves fled because of the Balrog. And these two people got lost along the way. Huh. Tragic tale. Gosh. All right, I got to keep reading. Otherwise, we're never going to get through this chapter. That's crazy. I want to make a video about that. Even though I barely know anything. What does Dol mean? City? What does Dol mean again? Dol Amroth? Like the city of Amroth, I'm guessing? Like Dol Guldur is a city or the hill? Okay. Yeah, Tolkien loves his tragic stories. We made it one paragraph. We're just going slow today. I'll read a little faster. Or we'll read bigger chunks. But that was just really interesting to me. I fear when we get to Dol means not sharp. I fear when we get to the Silmarillion, it's probably gonna be a page per stream. It's gonna be long streams. At length they came to the Prince Emerhil, and Legolas looked at him and bowed low, for he saw that here indeed was one who had elven blood in his veins. "Hail, Lord," he said. "It is long since the people of Nimrodel left the woodlands of Lorien. And yet still one may see that not all sailed from Amroth's haven west over water." Emerhil is their child, their grandson, their great grandson. Maybe a lot more greats behind that one. "So it is said in the lore of my land," said the prince. "Yet never has one of the fair folk been seen there for years beyond count, and I marvel to see one here now in the midst of sorrow and war. What do you seek?" Yeah, the descents of some of their family. That's so cool. That's so cool. This adds to the lore of Emerhil. "I am one of the 9 companions who set out with Mithrandir from Imladris," said Legolas. "And with this dwarf, my friend, I came with the Lord Aragorn. But now we wish to see our friends Meriadoc and Peregrine, who are in your keeping, we are told. You will find them in the houses of healing, and I will lead you thither," said Emerhil. "It will be enough if you send one to guide us, Lord," said Legolas, "for Aragorn sends this message to you. He does not wish to enter the city again at this time. Yet there is need for the captains to hold council at once. And he prays that you and Eomer of Rohan will come down to his tents as soon as may be. Mithrandir is already there." "We will come," said Emerhil. And they parted with courteous words. "That is a fair lord and a great captain of men," said Legolas. Dang, if Legolas is saying that to you, has to do with his own love of Edith, as yet apart from her, she actually got engaged to another man. Dang, I'm gonna get some juicy stuff. I love that Emerhil's your favorite side character. He's slowly rising in lore, coolness. Every single chapter that I read him in, he's getting cooler and cooler. And that's one of the reasons why I'm starting to like him even more and more, because in the beginning, he's not like showboating about who he is. He's just like helping people and just like is a G. He's so cool. That is a fair lord and a great captain of men, said Legolas. If Gondor has such men still in these days of fading, great must have been its glory in the days of its rising. That's cool. And doubtless the good stonework is the older and was wrought in the first building, said Gimli. He's only got his mind on stonework. It is ever so with the things that the men began, or that men begin. There is a frost in spring, or a blight in summer, and they fail of their promise. It is ever so with the things that men begin. There is a frost in the spring, or a blight in summer, and they fail of their promise. Yet seldom do they fail of their seed, said Legolas. And that will lie in the dust and rot to spring up again in times, in places unlooked for. The deeds of men will outlast us, Gimli, and yet come to naught in the end, but might have beens, I guess, said the dwarf. To that the elves know not the answer, said Legolas. Weird. Men suck. We get it, Legolas. Well, Legolas isn't even the one that's saying that we suck all that much. It's Gimli saying that we suck. And Legolas is kind of putting his neck out there for us. Yet seldom do they fail of their seed, said Legolas. And that lie will in the dust. And that will lie in the dust and rot to spring up again in times and places unlooked for. The deeds of men will outlast us, Gimli. That's really cool. Yeah, that's actually a really good thing. Optimism versus pessimism. Gimli says they never finish what they start. Legolas says they always survive. Yeah, this seed, it reminds me of like that. Like this is like Aragorn, the seed of Aragorn. It's coming up in the middle of this rot and this dust. Like literally, the rot is, or the dust is Denethor, and the rot too. I think the dust is the kingdom of Gondor currently, and the rot is the impending coming of Mordor almost. And it's like there's a seed that's going to spring up out of the middle of that, which seems like it's Aragorn. This is a cool section. This is interesting. Okay, we've only got 2 pages in, so we got to keep reading. 2 pages in about a half an hour. We'll slowly make our way through this, guys. We'll make it there together. Also, everyone liked to stream. With that, the servants of the prince came and led them to the houses of healing. And there they found their friends in the garden. And their meeting was a merry one. For a while they walked and talked, rejoicing for a brief space in peace and rest under the morning high up in the windy circles of the city. Then when Merry became weary, they went and sat upon the wall with the greensward of the houses of healing behind them. And away southward before them was the Anduin glittering in the sun. As it flowed away out of the sight of even Legolas, or out of sight even of Legolas, into the wide flats and green haze of Lebanon and South Ithilien. Excuse me. And now Legolas fell silent, while the others talked, and he looked out against the sun. And as he gazed, he saw white seabirds bearing up the river. Bearing up the river. They're smelling good air. Oh yeah, beating up the river. But still. Look, he cried, gulls. They are flying far inland. A wonder they are to me, and a trouble to my heart. Why would they be a trouble to his heart? Never in all my life had I met them until we came to Pelargir. And there I heard them crying in the air as we rode to battle of the ships. Then I stood still, forgetting war in Middle-earth, for their wailing voices spoke to me of the sea. The sea, alas, I have not beheld it. But deep in the hearts of all my kindred lies the sea longing, which is perilous to stir. Alas, for the gulls, no peace shall I have again under beech or under elm. Why? That's right, the warning that... Interesting. The warning that they gave. Now I need to go back and read that. Can someone quickly... A seagull stole his lembas. Can someone quickly copy paste what Galadriel's warning to him was? And was that when they re-met Gandalf and Gandalf's coming with words to them? Or was that when they were leaving Lothlorien? Hearing the sea makes an elf want to go west. So is that why he's sad? Like this, it seemed more ominous to me. They trouble his heart. Hold on. Legolas Greenleaf long under tree. In joy thou hast lived. Beware of the sea. If thou hearest the cry of the gull on the shore, thy heart shall then rest in the forest no more. This is so sad. No, sorry. I'm just saying this is sad, Wes. Relax. Hey. Relax. Come here. 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 Relax. Hey. Hey, relax. Come here. Come say hi to everyone. Everyone. Wes is right off screen right now. I'm scratching his chin. He has to leave Middle-earth. Sindar elves. Yeah, don't explain the full sea longing to me. I'm not going to read anymore. Beware of it, though. You all right, buddy? Okay, I'm going to keep reading. Say not so, said Gimli. There are countless things still to see in Middle-earth, and great work to do. But if all the fair folk take to the havens, it will be a duller world for those who are doomed to stay. Aw. Dull and dreary indeed, said Merry. You must not go to the havens, Legolas. There will always be some folk, big or little, and even a few wise dwarves like Gimli who need you. At least I hope so. Though I feel somehow that the worst of this war is still to come. How I wish it was over, and well over. Don't be so gloomy, cried Pippin. The sun is shining, and here we are together for a day or two at least. I want to hear more about you all. Come, Gimli. You and Legolas have mentioned your strange journey with Strider about a dozen times already this morning, but you haven't told me anything about it. The sun may shine here, said Gimli, but there are memories of that road that I do not wish to recall out of darkness. Had I known what was before me, I think that not for any friendship would I have taken the paths of the dead. Whoa. He's much more of a pessimist than I really remembered. Paths of the dead, said Pippin. I heard Aragorn say that, and I wondered what he could mean. Won't you tell us some more? Not willingly, said Gimli, for upon that road I was put to shame, So he's just bummed that he was put to shame there. Gimli, Glowin's son, who had deemed himself more tough than men and hardier under earth than any elf, but neither did I prove. And I was held to the road only by the will of Aragorn. And by the love of him also, said Legolas. Oh, he's such a softy. For all those who come to know him come to love him after his own fashion. Even the cold maiden of Rohan, of the Rohirrim. Gosh. It was at early morn of the day ere you came there, Mary, that we left Dunharrow. And such a fear was on all the folk that none would look on our going, save the Lady Eowyn, who lies now hurt in the houses below. There was grief at that parting, and I was grieved to behold it. Alas, I had heart only for myself, said Gimli. Nay, I will not speak of that journey. Man! The cold maiden of the Rohirrim. Hold on one sec. All right, let's keep reading. He fell silent. But Pippin and Merry were so eager for news that at last Legolas said, I will tell you enough for your peace, for I felt not the horror, and I feared not the shadows of men, powerless and frail as I deemed them. Swiftly, then, he told of the haunted road under the mountains, and the dark tryst at Erech, and the great ride thence 90 leagues and 3, to Pelargir on Anduin, 4 days and nights, and on into a 5th we rode from the Black Stone. He said, and lo, in the darkness of Mordor my hope rose, for in that gloom the shadow hosts seemed to grow stronger and more terrible to look upon. Some I saw riding, some striding, yet all moving with the same great speed. Silent they were, but there was a gleam in their eyes. In the uplands of Lamedon they overtook our horses and swept round us, and would have passed us by if Aragorn had not forbidden them. At his command they fell back. Even the shades of men are obedient to his will. I thought, they may serve his needs yet. Sleep paralysis demons. This is so weird. I know, he's in command. Tryst is a meeting. 1 day of light we rode, and then came the day without dawn, and we still rode on. And Ciril and Ringlow we crossed. Or Ringlow. We crossed. And on the 3rd day we came to Linhir, above the mouth of Gallarain. And there men of Lamedon contested the fords with fell folk of Umbar and Harad, who had sailed up the river. But defenders and foes alike gave up the battle and fled when we came, crying out that the king of the dead was upon them. Only Angbor, lord of Lamedon, had the heart to abide us. And Aragorn bade him gather his folk and come behind, if they dared, when the grey host had passed. Weird. At Pelargir, the heir of Isildur will have need of you, he said. Thus we crossed over Gilrain, driving the allies of Mordor en route before us. And then we rested a while. But soon Aragorn arose, saying, Lo, already Minas Tirith is assailed. I fear that it will fall ere we come to its aid. So we mounted again before night and passed and went on with all the speed that our horses could endure over the plains of Lebanon. So Umbar and Harad Did they hold on? Did they? Yeah, I need a map. Hold on. I kind of feel like I know where this is a little bit, but I'm slightly confused. So, and it's the Corsairs, but does this mean that they have overtaken them, or the Corsairs are still going up? I mean, this is probably a read and find out. Oh, come on, get out of here. Okay, one sec. So they came here, Callum-Bell, Essring, and they rode down to Lynn here, around Pelargir, and the ships are coming up here. That's the mouth of the Anduin. So they come up, and do they intercept them here? Pelargir is a port city. Okay, so we're not quite there yet. Okay, interesting. Yeah, that's probably a read and find out. So they intercept them there, and they just go straight up to Minas Tirith. I'm really curious what's going to happen with the green men. They're not really green. They're kind of green. I guess they're green. We'll see if they're green. Maybe. Okay. I'm going to keep reading. Also, welcome everyone. Everyone like the stream? I saw a comment. First time on a reading stream. Love that. Spent all weekend catching up. That makes me so happy. I know it's probably in the next paragraph. Guys, it's always in the next paragraph. That's what always happens. I ask all these questions and then literally I just need to read the next paragraph and it's right there. But where's the fun in that? Thus we crossed over Gilrain, driving the allies of Mordor en route before us. Then we rested a while, but soon Aragorn rose, saying, "Lo, already Minas Tirith is assailed. I fear that it will fall ere we come to its aid." So we mounted again before night and passed and went on with all the speed that our horses could endure over the plains of Lebanon. Legolas paused and sighed. And turning his eyes southward, softly he sang, Silver flows the streams from Kelos to Erui. Silver, that idea of the silver, is this the song of that we were just talking about before? In the green fields of Lebanon, tall grass grows there, and the wind from the sea, and white lilies sway, and the golden bells are shaken of Malos and Alfirin, in the green fields of Lebanon, in the wind from the sea. Huh. That's all over my head. But I'll come to that later. Green are those fields in the songs of my people, but they were dark then. Oh, I was talking about this before in one of those essays, the color. Green wastes in the blackness before us, and over the wide land, trampling unheeded in the grass and the flowers, we hunted our foes through a day and a night, until we came at the bitter end to the great river at last. Wait, did they fight them south? We came to the end of the river? No, we just came to the bitter end, to the great river at last. Okay. Then I thought in my heart that we drew near to the sea, for wide was the water in the darkness, and the seabirds innumerable cried on its shores. Alas for the wailing of the gulls! Did not the lady tell me to beware of them? And now I cannot forget them. For my part, I heeded them not, said Gimli, for we came then at last upon the battle in earnest. There at Pelargir, lay the main fleet of Umbar, 50 great ships and smaller vessels beyond count. Many of those that we pursued had reached the havens before us and brought their fear with them, and some of the ships had put off, seeking to escape down the river or to reach the far shore. And many of the smaller craft were ablaze, but the Haradrim, being now driven to the brink, turned at bay, and they were fierce in despair, and they laughed when they looked on us, for they were a great army still. But Aragorn halted and cried with a great voice, "Now come, by the black stone I call you." And suddenly the shadow host that had hung back at the last camp came up like a gray tide, sweeping all away before it. Faint cries I heard, and dim horns blowing, and a murmur as of countless far voices. It was like the echo of some forgotten battle in the dark years long ago. Pale swords were drawn, but I know not whether their blades would still bite, for the dead needed no longer any weapon but fear. None would withstand them. This is still like a kill switch. But it's interesting. This reminds me of, I had the little flash in my head. You know what this reminds me of? In Indiana Jones. When he's sick and he couldn't do that thing with acting against the guy who comes with the sword and he swings the sword everywhere and goes, and Indiana Jones just goes and just shoots him. This is what it was. The Haradrim are sitting there, a massive army, and they're swinging their swords around, and Aragorn just goes, "Dead, go get him. Sick him. Go get him." Sorry, Wes, that wasn't for you, buddy. And then the gray army, the gray tide, just wipes him out. You know what I mean? It feels very similar to that. That's what goes on in my head. No death? They just ran? None would withstand them. To every ship they came that was drawn up, and then they passed over the water to those that were anchored, and all the mariners were filled with madness of terror and leaped overboard, save the slaves chained to the oars. Reckless we rode among our fleeing foes, driving them like leaves until we came to the shores. And then to each of the great ships that remained, Aragorn sent one of the Dunedain, and they comforted the captains that were abroad, and bade them put aside fear and be free. Huh? This is like, because they're from the north and the Dunedain, they have the ability to undo the black shadow, not necessarily the black shadow, but the darkness that's on these people. Is there some kind of fear that's set on these people? So the army didn't kill them? It seems like they did to me. I know not whether their blades would still bite, for the dead needed no longer any weapon but fear. Oh, there you go. Okay. But I know not whether their blades would still bite. Where does it say they ran away? Faint cries I heard, sweeping all the way before it. Faint cries I heard, and dim horns blowing, and a murmur of countless far voices. It was like an echo of some forgotten battle in the dark years long ago. Pale swords were drawn, but I know not whether their blades would still bite, for the dead needed no longer any weapon but fear. None would withstand them. It definitely makes sense that the Umbar jumped out of the boats, but it seems like the Haradrim. Huh. Maybe that's going to happen later. I have read The Hobbit in 6th grade, or like 5th, or like 7th grade, or something like that. But I don't remember much of it. I just remember the a few sections on like the riddles, because we had to try to figure out those riddles in class, and I remember being really fun. That's really all I remember about the Hobbit. I guess I'm not here yet. This is interesting. But this line, and then to each of the great ships that remained, Aragorn sent one of the Dunedain. This seems like because they're the Dunedain, they get to counteract, almost like the swords that Merry and Pippin got. Am I wrong about that? Am I wrong? You're going to tell me it's that Wicked Witch meme. But I don't... They might have ran, but I don't know where they ran yet. You guys are all having a side debate. I can't figure out where the people are answering my questions. He had none others to send. I know it's not the Black Breath, but it almost feels to some extent like there is a shadow over them. Because they're putting aside fear. They're being driven by fear by Sauron or by the Nazgul to some extent. And... we're having a last debate. Yeah, maybe comparable to the Black Breath, because it seems like they're driven by fear, and then all of a sudden the Dunedain, who maybe are able to counteract that better than most, are able to... because Aragorn is the one who he takes the Dunedain, and then he has them put aside fear and be free. Let's keep reading. Ere that dark day ended... none of the enemy were left to resist us. They were all drowned or were flying south in the hope to find their own lands upon foot. There you go. Strange and wonderful, I thought it that the designs of Mordor should be overthrown by such wraiths of fear and darkness. With its own weapons was it worsted. Strange indeed, said Legolas. In that hour I looked upon Aragorn and thought how great and terrible a lord he might have become in the strength of his will, had he taken the ring to himself. Not for naught does Mordor fear him, but nobler is the spirit than the understanding of Sauron, for he is not of the children of Luthien. For is he not of the children of Luthien? Aragorn's a descendant of Luthien? Never shall that line fail, though the years may lengthen beyond count. Wow, what a great sentence. I love Legolas just heaping praise on Aragorn here. Cousin? Yeah, maybe cousin. A little cuz. Both Aragorn and Arwen are. So they're just essentially siblings getting married. Yeah, debate in the chat is a little distracting, but it's all right. Just hang out. Let's keep reading. Beyond the eyes of the dwarves are such foretellings, said Gimli. But mighty indeed was Aragorn that day. Lo, all the Black Fleet was in his hands, and he chose the greatest ship to be his own. And he went up into it. Then he let sound a great concourse of trumpets taken from the enemy, and the shadow host withdrew to the shore. There they stood silent, hardly to be seen, save for a red gleam in their eyes that caught the glare of the ships that were burning. And Aragorn spoke in a loud voice to the dead men, crying, Hear now the words of the heir of Isildur. Your oath is fulfilled. Go back and trouble not the valleys ever again. Depart and be at rest. Whoa, so they're done here. You'd think that Aragorn would keep them just for a little bit longer. You know that little section where Gimli is like, It's a bad move to get rid of them. I'm kind of on Gimli's side here. Sweet home Middle Earth. So that's why they weren't in battle. Is it not Dunharrow? Is it Doonharrow? How do you pronounce that? Huh. Depart and be at rest. That's crazy. They finished their fight. That was a good pun. Huh. So they did their part. Interesting. They didn't really kill anybody, though. They don't kill anybody. They just drive people mad by fear. I guess. Am I wrong on that? Did they just drive the people mad in fear? Yeah, that was enough because they ended up killing themselves or fleeing. Yeah, killing people is bad for sure. Yeah, they're the good version, not the good versions of Nazgul because they're still pretty weird. Honestly, seeing them in a matchup, would they counteract the Nazgul at all? I don't think so. I almost feel like the Dunedain counteract the Nazgul. Yeah, and then he picked up a real army after that. He like traded that army for a real army. So I guess that's better. Huh. This makes me wonder. They probably can't kill anybody. Refresh my memory because it was a few chapters ago. But Aragorn, nothing happens with a sword, right? Like Aragorn's sword doesn't work on the king of the Green Men's sword. Like they don't have the sword to sword battle. And so all of this is like, but they're not wights. They're kind of like wraiths, but not. They're ghosts. I guess they're ghosts. They're different. It's just different for everyone. Yeah, that's the movie. So it makes sense that they wouldn't just be able to touch anybody and that their only thing is fear. I know there's no green men, but I just keep calling them green men because in the movies they're the green men. So, oh yeah, real quick. Sorry, I'm really distracted the stream. A wight is a dead body possessed by a spirit. Weird. So ghosts, wraiths, and rights are the same thing. They seem different in my head. So a wraith seems like a spirit that is kept here by the ring. A wraith, that's what a wraith seems. A reanimated dead body. And ghosts are souls that just cannot leave because they haven't fulfilled an oath. Yeah, differences are I know they're not going to be for sure clear. They swore to seal their showcase. It does really show how O's are so serious in this world. Let your yes be yes, your no be no. It's an interesting little thing. Like, because the Nazgul are actually able to harm people, but I'm sure that's based on the power of the ring. The wights... Does Frodo chop off the hand of the wight? Weird. So that he's cutting off the physical body of this reanimated... That's interesting. The wights are now more terrifying to me. Don't do me like that, Shattermouth. It's terrible. Oh, I dropped my pencil. Hold on, everyone. Stream over. Okay. Let's keep reading. This is interesting. It makes me think about what the heck these ghosts can actually do or what they can't do. Where am I? And thereupon the king of the dead stood out before the host and broke his spear and cast it down. Then he bowed low and turned away, and swiftly the whole gray host drew on and vanished like a mist that is driven back by a sudden wind. And it seemed to me that I awoke from a dream. That's a weird line. The gray host. The Green Army was never really green. Interesting. I awoke from a dream. That almost makes me think like the ghosts have put some kind of fear over everyone, but the only person who's really able to resist to the extent that he should resist is Aragorn. Because Legolas seems like he's waking up from a dream, but maybe he doesn't fear because he knows what they are. Gimli's fear seems irrational here. Like, why is Gimli afraid to go underground? He's seen worse than this army before. But it's like the fear of the Nazgul, these like spirits in this world. Yeah, I know I'm taking Dream too seriously, but it still feels like that. Like if he's waking up from a dream, it feels like some kind of feeling is like leaving him. Gimli just doesn't like ghosts. That's his fear. I kind of concur with that. That night we rested while others labored. For there were many captives to set free, and many slaves released who had been folk of Gondor taken in raids. And soon also there was a great gathering of men out of Lebanon and the Ether. And Angborn of Lamadon came up with all the horsemen that he could muster. Now that the fear of the dead was removed, there it is. Now that the fear of the dead was removed, they came to aid us and look on the heir of Isildur, for the rumors of that name had run like fire in the dark. That's cool. And that is near the end of our tale, for during that evening and night many ships were made ready and manned. And in the morning the fleet set forth. Long past it now seems, and it was but the morn of the day ere yesterday, the 6th since we rode from Dunharrow. But still Aragorn was driven by fear. That time was too short. Interesting. This is an interesting chapter, everyone. I need to reread this a few times. Huh. The Grey Army. And what they did. Interesting. It is 40 leagues and 2 from Pelargir to the landings at the Harland, he said. Yet to the Harland we must come tomorrow or fail utterly. The oars were now wielded by free men, and manfully they labored, yet slowly we passed up the great river, for we strove against its stream. And though it is not swift down in the south, we had no help of wind. Heavy would my heart have been for all our victory at the havens if Legolas had not laughed suddenly. A laugh, a powerful laugh, yet again. 126 miles, interesting. I have seen that video. I bookmarked it because I need to save it for when I'm done. Yeah, I know for sure. There's so many essays that are coming out of this chapter. But I have so many disjointed thoughts about this, which is why I feel like I need to reread it again. Because there's 20 essays that I could write already about this, but I think I'm going to synthesize all that into one, maybe really long one about really what the army was doing. But there's like a lot of there's like a lot of old lore in this chapter. I feel like even when it mentions the Dark Years, like they're going back and fighting the Dark Years, it makes me want to know, like, a lot of things, a lot of essays in this chapter are being put on the back burner right now. Like, I need to know more about the Army of the Dead and what really happened during the Dark Years before I can analyze this and like talk about why they were freed and what really was going on. There seems like there's like a lot of extra lore here. Like, there's a lot of chapters that are pointing to this chapter. You know what I mean? And like probably a lot of chapters in the back that are pointing back at this one. Yeah, I'm sure all this is in the appendices somewhere. Interesting. If Legolas had not laughed suddenly, "Up with your beard, Durin's son," he said. "For thus it is spoken, oft hope is born when all is forlorn." But what hope he saw from afar he would not tell. When night came, it did but deepen the darkness, and our hearts were hot, for away in the north we saw a red glow under the cloud, and Aragorn said, "Minas Tirith is burning." But at midnight, hope was indeed born anew. The wind! Sea-crafty men of the ether, gazing southward, spoke of a change coming with a fresh wind from the sea. Long ere the day the masted ships hoisted sail. Gosh, can't read sometimes. And our speed grew until dawn whitened the foam at our prows. And so it was, as you know, that we came in the third hour of the morning. Dude, this wind is legitimately divine. There's no doubt about it. It's just the god of the river is just going down river, you know what I mean? Or up river. That we came the third hour of the morning with a fair wind and the sun unveiled. And we unfurled the great standard in battle. It was a great day and a great hour, whatever may come after. The wind, yeah, that wind really is the main hero of the sixth book. God of the wind, not the river. Manwë. I hope I learned about him soon. Or her. Whichever one. Is it proper to talk about God in gendered language? Interesting. Okay. Follow what may. Great deeds are not lessened in worth, said Legolas. Oh, 1 second. I'm going to get a text. Hold on. I got to text my brother real quick. Send. Boom. Manwë is masculine and not a god. Manwë and Ulmo. Yeah, no spoilers. I gotta stop reading. This is just so interesting to me. Okay. Follow what may. Great deeds are not lessened in worth, said Legolas. Great deed was the riding of the paths of the dead. And great it shall remain, though none be left in Gondor to sing of it in days that are yet to come, or in days that are to come. And that may well befall, said Gimli, for the faces of Aragorn and Gandalf are grave. Much I wonder what counsels they are taking in the tents below. For my part, like Merry, I wish that with our victory the war was now over. Yet whatever is still to do, I hope to have a part in it. for the honor of the folk of the lonely mountain. Ah, that's great. And I for the folk of the great wood, said Legolas, and for the love of the Lord of the White Tree. Then the companions fell silent. But a while they sat there, but a while they sat there in the high places, each busy with his own thoughts, while the captains debated. Dang. There's a lot of really great lines in this chapter. Oh man, I need to reread this. When the Prince Emerhil had parted from Legolas and Gimli, at once he sent for Éomer, and he went down with him from the city. Hold on one second, actually. And they came to the tents of Aragorn that were set upon the fields, not far from the place where King Theoden had fallen. And there they took counsel together with Gandalf and Aragorn and the sons of Elrond. My lords, said Gandalf, listen to the words of the steward of Gondor before he died. You may triumph on the fields of the Pelennor for a day, but against the power that has now arisen, there is no victory. I do not bid you despair as he did, but to ponder the truth in these words. Dang! All right, Gandalf saying he's kind of right. The stones of seeing do not lie, but they don't tell the full truth. Yeah, I do say, oh, this chapter has so many good lines in every single thing. Yeah, there's everyone join the Discord real quick. I'll post a link. If you want to have a debate or chat or give spoiler stuff, feel free to do it in the Discord. Let me send a link. Copy. Invite to channel. Copy. Boom. 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 You can jump in the Discord if you want, guys. Not really a debate, but a discussion. But a debate sounds better. Okay. All right. All right. The Gandalf monologue. Huh. The stones of seeing do not lie, and not even the Lord of Barad-dûr can make them do so. He can, maybe by his will, choose what things shall be seen by weaker minds, or cause them to mistake the meaning of what they see. Nonetheless, it cannot be doubted that when Denethor saw great forces arrayed against him in Mordor, and more still being gathered, he saw that which truly is. Yeah, that's true. Hardly has our strength sufficed to beat off the first great assault. The next will be greater. This war, then, is without final hope, as Denethor perceived. Victory cannot be achieved by arms, whether you sit here to endure siege after siege, or to march out to be overwhelmed beyond the river. You have only a choice of evils. And prudence would counsel you to strengthen such strong places as you have, and there await the onset. For so shall the time before your end be made a little longer. Then you would have us retreat to Minas Tirith or Dol Amroth or to Dunharrow, and there sit like children on sandcastles when the tide is flowing, said Emerhil. That would be no new counsel, said Gandalf. Have you not done this and little more in all the days of Denethor? But no, I said this would be prudent. I do not counsel prudence. I said victory could not be achieved by arms. I still hope for victory, but not by arms. For into the midst of all these policies comes the ring of power, the foundation of Barad-dûr, and the hope of Sauron. Concerning this thing, my lords, you now all know enough for the understanding of our plight and of Sauron's. Huh. If he regains it, your valor is vain, and his victory will be swift and complete. So complete that none can foresee the end of it while this world lasts. If it is destroyed, then he will fall. And his fall will be so low that none can foresee his arising ever again. For he will lose the best part of the strength that was native to him in his beginning. And all that was made or begun with that power will crumble, and he will be maimed forever, becoming a mere spirit of malice that gnaws itself in the shadows, but cannot again grow or take shape. And so a great evil of this world will be removed. Becoming a mere spirit of malice that gnaws itself in the shadows. That's still a little creepy. It's almost like he's got like Horcruxes just chilling around. That is still very creepy that he's just like around. Huh. He could definitely haunt a house. He's just going to haunt like Denethor's tomb now. That's all he's going to do. Him and Denethor are just going to battle back and forth. For real, this is really where Rowling seems to get her idea from. I'm sure she read that sentence and was like, oh, I have an idea for a book. Yeah, let them just haunt their own little graves. They can leave the rest of us alone. I'd be happy with that. Ugh, creepy. Other evils there are that may come, for Sauron is himself but a servant or emissary. Is that the first time we hear that idea in the Lord of the Rings? This is crazy to me. Yeah, Sauron in the chat with us. We need to have a little exorcism right here with Sauron. Also, thanks for the $5. I know it's wait, but my issue is not in this book, in the Lord of the Rings, because this is the only. It's not in. I know it's in the Silmarillion, and I know that he wanted to publish both of them together, but the Silmarillion never really got. It got published, obviously. But this got published first, no? So if you're reading this, is this the first time it actually comes up in this story? Because if I'm reading this and I don't know any of that history, like imagine The Lord of the Rings gets published and you buy this book and you're ripping through it and you're going, Sauron is the main force. And then all of a sudden it says, other evils there are that may come, for Sauron is himself but a servant or an emissary. I'm putting down the book for a quick second and I'm going, what are we doing? Who is Sauron a servant of? And where is this little demon thing that's going to, control? That's terrifying. And yeah, I feel like, the purpose, you're not supposed to know all the lore and the depth at this point makes it terrifying. Because I'm going, there's something deeper and scarier in this moment. Everybody change your pants because this is actually kind of terrifying. Put on a new diaper. Wes, 2 more pages, which is probably a half hour, and then we'll go for a walk, okay? Everyone, look at him. Look how cute he is. He's just lying on the ground right now. This is what he does when I stream. Hold on, just watch how cute this dog is. That's him right there. Just chilling on the ground. Waiting for the stream to finish. I love this dog. Give me Bombadil. Freaking Bombadil. This is crazy. He's but a servant or an emissary. Wild. Yet it is not our part to master all the tides of the world, but to do what is in us for the succor of those years wherein we are set, uprooting the evils in the fields that we know, and that those who live after may have clean earth to till. What weather they shall have is not ours to rule. Oh my gosh. Whew. I'm getting the chills on that line. Man, that's a good line. Holy smokes. Also, everyone, I know it's the end of the stream, but like the stream. I hate saying that. We gotta make it big. We gotta make some kind of joke out of that. No, I saw that video of the streamer, what's his face, using a shot collar to keep his dog in frame. That's so sad. That makes me so mad. My dog just roams the house and just is begging for a walk. He's so cute right now. I love this dog. He's the best. Oh. You named an armadillo Tom Armadillo. That is so great. All right, let's keep reading. Let me reread that line. That was so good. Yet it is not our part to master all the tides of this world, all the tides of the world, but to do what is in us for the succor of those years wherein we are set, uprooting the evil in the fields that we know, so that those who live after may have clean earth to till. What weather they shall have is not ours to rule. Man. Now Sauron knows all this, and he knows that this precious thing which he lost has been found again. But he does not. That's okay. Shatterman, great point. Okay. Spoilers in the chat. I should probably go over this before I start reading every single time. Spoilers in the chat. So just put yourself in my shoes. I've only read where we are at right now. Like, I have not read anything else. I don't know any of the extra lore. So if there's something that comes up in the Silmarillion, you can chat about it, but there's a channel in the Discord that has like some, like a spoiler thread, and I know I keep asking questions and you guys want to answer the questions because that's what a question is for, but my only thing is I'm asking these questions so you guys get like what is in my head. Sometimes just know not to answer the questions that I'm asking. Know that, like, that's why Read and Find Out is becoming such a big thing on this channel, because everyone just needs to tell me to shut up and stop asking the questions. But I'm asking the questions almost for, like, just to, like, show, I don't know. I'm asking the questions just because I want you guys to see my process, how I'm processing these things in my mind, and what I think of them immediately. That's why, like, the Read and Find Out is interesting, because I literally, formulating a thought. Doesn't mean you guys need to answer every single question I'm asking. You guys are all here for just my reactions of things. So I'm just like, part of the reason why I ask a lot of questions too is just like for your guys' joy as well. Like, because you guys are like, oh my gosh, I can't wait till he gets to that scene where like this question gets answered by that. You know what I mean? So you guys can, I scan through chat. Like, if I see like a longer text that seems like spoiler stuff, I just skip my eyes over it. And I have a weird ability. This is a weird ability of mine. Where if someone spoils something, unless it's like a really blatant, obvious spoiler, because Tolkien's world is filled with such interesting names and like even something like I was reading before, like what's the first name that came up in this chapter that we were talking about? Like again, this is showing my mind. Nimrodel. That came up previously, and I don't remember that stuff until I actually reread it or figure it out. So like you guys might be spoiling names. Like I know Feanor comes up a lot, and I don't know anything about him. And every single time that the stream ends, I completely forget everything that anybody said about Feanor or any of these other characters. So like until I read it myself, I'm kind of good. So like spoilers, I kind of just skip over. But that's my soft magic power. Yeah, exactly. But all that to say, no spoilers, no like real big spoilers in the chat. Like I'm asking the questions just so you guys can see my thought process. Feanor is a name for sure. And you guys can feel free to like answer some of them or like talk amongst yourselves about some of them. But yeah, I don't know. I'll just skip over that stuff and won't read it all. And there are some mods in chat too, so if you guys get something, see something, just delete it. And Michael always gives me spoilers. Frodo's vaporized by Faramir's heat vision. Yeah, mods, you don't have to delete that much stuff, to be honest. I'll just scan my eye over it, but it's all right. Let's keep reading. Let us keep reading. Now Sauron knows all this, and he knows that his precious thing which he lost has been found again. But he does not yet know where it is, or so we hope. And therefore he is now in great doubt. For if we have found this thing, there are some among us with strength enough to wield it. That too he knows, for I do not guess rightly, Aragorn. For do I not guess rightly, Aragorn, that you have oh my gosh. That you have shown yourself to him in the stone of Orthanc. Aragorn's the rightful owner of this ring. Or not the rightful owner, but he can wield the ring. That's so interesting. This is a movie only line, right? I need to go back to the Council of Elrond because in the movies, Aragorn is at the Council of Elrond and he says, remember he says that line in that little strange voice where it seems like he's nasally? The ring answers to Sauron alone. It has no other master. And doesn't he say that, doesn't Elrond say that the ring cannot be wielded by anyone sitting here among us? So the movie was totally wrong about that. I'm curious if, yeah, we need to have a bingo card with all my sayings. Every time I say interesting, you guys gotta everyone take a shot every single time I say interesting, or oh my word, that's a shot. I wonder if the movies gave a slight nod to that in any way, where like Elrond says that, and then all of a sudden the camera pans over to Aragorn, and he just winks at the camera real quick. I can. We cannot wield it. None of us can. It has no other master. That's what he sounds like. He goes, we cannot wield it. None of us can. It has no other master. The ring answers to Sauron alone. So he was totally wrong. That's crazy. That's so cool. I need to write an essay about that. The ring answers to Aragorn, or wields. Yeah, maybe not answers. Wields is the right term. Or Aragorn can wield it. That too he knows. For if we have found this thing, there are some among us with the strength to wield it. So they just have the strength to wield it. I'm guessing Gandalf and Aragorn are probably in that mix. Éomer has strength. I don't think the strength to wield the ring. Imrahil legitimately could be here. Oh, hold on. So wield here means master. Okay, interesting. Imrahil maybe. Yeah, so it doesn't mean uncorrupted, but it means you can actually use it to some extent. Like Frodo puts on the ring and he's not really able to use it to his full strength. Denethor could? Maybe. Interesting. I don't know. There's debate whether it means master. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, and wielding the ring, it would master them. That's a good point. Welcome from Spain. Glad you're here. Yeah, there are some people who use it, but what is that? What does the word wield mean in this case? That's an interesting idea. I don't know. Really don't know what it means, but Yorith could wield the ring. But yeah, Bilbo wears it and they're invisible because of it. But is that really using it? I'm guessing wields it mean uses it to its full potential. And I think Aragorn probably could, but then I think it would destroy him at the same point. He would wield it for maybe longer than anybody else could. I don't know. Let's keep reading. I did so ere I rode from the Hornburg, answered Aragorn. I deemed that the time was ripe and that the stone had come to me for just such a purpose. It was then 10 days since the ring-bearer went east from Rhoros, and the eye of Sauron, I thought, should be drawn out from his own land. Too seldom has he been challenged since he returned to his tower. Though if I had foreseen how swift would be his onset and answer, maybe I should not have dared to show myself. Bare time was given to me to come to your aid. Hold on. I need to put a timeline of things together real quick in my mind. That's a great idea. I actually love that idea. We'll do that. Christmas Eve reading. Planning it on the calendar. Real quick, I need a timeline in my mind. When Aragorn uses the Palantir and looks into it and gets Sauron, where is Frodo and Sam at that time? Is that literally right before the moment when Mordor goes up in lightning and then and then Minas Morgul answers? Or Minas Ithil? I like to call it Minas Ithil. That's literally the moment. So it's like literally right after that phone call happens. Oh, the wield it. No, I think that's talking about the ring, Julie, right? I think that would be talking about the ring. Oh no, we have found this thing. Wait. Now Sauron knows all this, and he knows this precious thing which he lost has been found again. They're talking about the ring. But he does not yet know where it is, or so we hope, and therefore he is now in great doubt. For if we have found this thing, there are some among us with strength enough to wield it. So that's why he's nervous of Aragorn. Because he sees Aragorn able to wield this ring and potentially overthrow him. Anyway, hold on. He's arriving at Henneth Anun. Yeah, let me take a quick glimpse of the appendices timeline. Where is that? Which appendice is that? So Sauron's actually just scared that he's going to be overthrown. This makes him like a more interesting villain. So this is an appendix B. Don't do it. Big spoilers. Oh, okay. I can't do this. I'm going with Thomas right here. I can't do that. Okay, I'm not going to check spoilers. But so just tell me real quick, when Aragorn hangs up the phone on the Palantir, where is Frodo at that time? So that's book 6. Okay. So they're past the calling. I'm curious what spurred Sauron to call Minas Ithil to battle. I'm sure it was just like battle itself, like, the time was setting. But what was that moment on the other side? Was that when Pippin touched the Palantir? No, that was before that. So Aragorn looks at the Palantir in Helm's Deep. I know, but Pippin still touches the Palantir. I guess it doesn't matter that much, but I'm still just curious what in Sauron's mind caused him to call Minas Ithil. And see what was going on there. March 5th. Wes, we're going soon. We're almost done. Like 2 more pages. I said that, 20 minutes ago, but 2 more pages. March 5th, the darkness comes from Mordor on March 9th. Okay. the faster I'll get there. I know. Okay, let's just keep reading. I'll figure all this out later. Bare time was given to me to come to your aid. But how is this? Asked Eomer. All is vain, you say, if he has the ring. Why should he think it not vain to assail us if we have it? That's a good question. He is not yet sure, said Gandalf, and he has not built up his power by waiting until his enemies are secure, as we have done. Also, we could not learn how to wield the full power all in a day. Indeed, it can be used only by one master alone, not by many, and he will look for a time of strife, ere one of the great among us makes himself master and puts down the others. In that time, the ring might aid him, if we were sudden, or if he were sudden. He is watching. He sees much and hears much. His Nazgul are still abroad. They pass over this field ere the sunrise, though few of the weary and sleeping were aware of them. He studies the signs, the sword that robbed him of his treasure remade. Sorry, comma placement just threw me off in that sentence. For a second there, I thought it was referencing the ring that was remade, which would be weird. The winds of fortune turning in our favors and the defeat unlooked for of his first assault, the fall of his great captain. His doubt will be growing even as we speak here. His eye is now straining toward us, blind almost to all else that is moving. So we must keep it. Therein lies all our hope. This then is my counsel. We have not the ring. In wisdom or great folly it has been sent away to be destroyed, lest it destroy us. Without it we cannot by force defeat his force. But we must at all costs keep his eye from his true peril. We cannot achieve victory by arms, but arms we can give the ring bearer, but by arms we can give the ring bearer his only chance, frail though it be. As Aragorn has begun, so we must go on. We must push Sauron to his last throw. We must call out his hidden strength so that he shall empty his land. We must march out to meet him at once. This is crazy to be reading this for the first time. Like, if I didn't know anything about the movie, I'm going, this is nuts. Crazy plan. We must make ourselves the bait. Though his jaws should close on us, he will take that bait in hope and in greed. For he will think that in such rashness he sees the pride of the new ring lord, And he will say, so, he pushes out his neck too soon and too far. Let him come on. And behold, I will have him in a trap from which he cannot escape. There I will crush him. And what he has taken in his insolence shall be mine again forever. We must walk open-eyed into that trap with courage, but small hope for ourselves. For my lords, it may well prove that we ourselves shall perish utterly in a black battle, far from the living lands, so that even if Barad-dûr be thrown down, we shall not live to see a new age. But this I deem is our duty, and better so than to perish nonetheless, as we surely shall if we sit here. And know as we die, that no new age shall be. Dang! What a speech! What a speech of Gandalf! So good. Man. Well, that's not even Aragorn that speaks that. That's Gandalf that speaks that. Man, that's a good speech. Dang should go on the bingo card too. Absolutely. Dang is on there. They were silent for a while. At length Aragorn spoke. As I have begun, so I will go on. We now come to the very brink where hope and despair are akin. To waver is to fall. Let none now reject the counsels of Gandalf, whose long labors against Sauron come at last to their test. But for him all would long ago have been lost. Nonetheless, I do not yet claim to command any man. Let others choose as they will. Then said Elrohir, from the north we came with this purpose, and from Elrond our father we brought this very counsel. We will not turn back. Are Elrohir and Elladan going to die? I fear that the first people who speak are often the first people who might die. No spoilers in chat. I'm not going to look anywhere. As for myself, said Éomer, I have little knowledge of these deep matters, but I need it not. This I know, and it is enough, that as my friend Aragorn succored me and my people, so I will aid him when he calls. I will go. As for me, said Emerhill, the Lord Aragorn I hold to be my liege lord, whether he claims it or no. His wish is to me a command. I will go also. Yet for a while I stand in the place of the steward of Gondor, and it is mine to think first of its people. To prudence some heed must still be given, for we must prepare against all chances, good as well as evil. Now it may be that we shall triumph, and while there is any hope of this, Gondor must be protected. I would not have us return with victory to a city in ruins and a land ravaged behind us. And yet we learn from the Rohirrim that there is still an army, still unfought upon our northern flank. That's a great point. That is true, said Gandalf. I do not counsel you to leave the city all unmanned. Indeed, the force that we lead east need not be great enough for any assault. In earnest upon Mordor, so long as it be great enough to challenge battle. And it must soon move. Therefore I ask the captains, what force could we muster and lead out in 2 days' time at the latest? And they must be hardy men that will go willingly, knowing their peril. Man. The first to rise shall be the first to die. Professor Trelawney is exactly it. Ferenz says that. Always the innocent are the first victims, or the first to be slain, something like that. Oh, man. The moon is bright tonight. All right, let's keep going. All are weary, and very many have wounds light or grievous, said Amer. And we have suffered much loss of our horses, and that is still ill to bear. If we must ride soon, then I cannot hope to lead even 2,000, and yet leave as many for the defense of the city. We have not only to reckon with those who fought on this field, said Aragorn. New strength is on the way from the southern fiefs. Now that the coast has been rid. 4,000 I sent marching from Pelargir through Lossarnac 2 days ago. And Angbor the Fearless rides before them. Angbor the Fearless? Dude, I want to meet this guy. Because he literally was fearless. Does he get this name? Fiefs. Sorry, guys. I know you guys all hate me for saying that. Or fiefs. Fiefs. Did Angbor just get his name because he was fearless and stood before everyone else who was fearful? Because it was Angbor before this. But now is he Angbor the Fearless because he's been fearless before that? So Angbor just got his name Angbor the Fearless because he was not afraid of the Grey Host. Love that. We're watching someone get his title in real time. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. We don't know for sure, but likely that's why Aragorn named him that. That's cool. Angus, thank you so much. I'm glad that you watch all the videos, and I'm glad that you think they're great. That means a lot. Legitimately, I love that people are actually enjoying the videos. Angbor the Fearless. Like, Alexander, was he called Alexander the Great during his lifetime? Probably not. He was probably just called the King Alexander or whatever it was. It'd be fun if you just got your own title before you died. Now I'm Angbor the Fearless. It's kind of cool. Yeah, Alexander of Macedonia, yeah. Alexander the Average. Man, imagine getting named by Aragorn. They just call him our boy Alex. Yo, Alex, Allie. Al, good old Al over there. If we set out in 2 days more, they will draw nigh ere we depart. Moreover, many were bidden to follow me up the river in any craft that they could gather. And with this wind, they shall soon be at hand. Indeed, several ships have already come to the Harland. I judge that we could lead out 7,000 of horse in foot, and yet leave the city in better defense than it was when the assault began. Where is the force from the north coming from? Is the force from the north Moria orcs? Or is that just a different raiding party from Minas Morgul? So they're by the Druidon, and they were the people that took Cair Andros, right? They crossed at Cair Andros. So there was a group of orcs that crossed at Cair Andros, and then the group that crossed at Osgiliath. And so the ones that crossed over Cair Andros are sitting by the Druidan forest. So they're still from Minas Morgul, correct? They're not from Moria. They left the Black Door and took Cair Andros. They left from the Black Gate. Interesting. So it's a small group of his orcs from the Black Gate that took that land. That's actually crazy. So it's Mordor. Interesting. They're Mordor orcs, not Moria orcs. I'm sure the Lothlorien elves are handling the Moria orcs a little bit. I mean, that would be a long journey. Yeah, that would be a really long journey. Go from Moria all the way down there. They've just been following the entire way. That'd be a long journey. All right, let's finish up this chapter. 6,000-ish. Yeah, that's right. Because Gonbury Gon talks about them. Right here might have something like a motorcycle club, but with horses. For sure. They're all in leather jackets. We ride. The gate is destroyed, said Imrahil. And where now is the skill to rebuild it and set it up anew? In Erebor, in the kingdom of Dane, there is such skill, said Aragorn. And if all our hopes do not perish, then in time I will send Gimli, Glóin's son, to ask for rights from the mountain. But men are better than gates, and no gate will endure against our enemy if men desert it. That's a good line. I love that they're all just helping each other out. They're like, let's all come together and help. Like, the world is going to be great once Sauron is destroyed. This then was the end of the debate of the lords, that they should set forth on the second morning from that day with 7,000s, if these might be found. And the great part of this force should be on foot, because of the evil lands into which they would go. Aragorn should find some 2,000s of those that he had gathered to him in the south. But Imrahil should find 3,500, and Eomer 500s of the Rohirrim who were unhorsed, but themselves war-worthy. And he himself should lead 500s of his best riders on horse. And another company of 500s, or 500 horses, another company of 500 horse there should be, among which should ride the sons of Elrond with the Dunedain and the knights of Dol Amroth. All told 6,000 foot and 1,000 horse. But the main strength of the Rohirrim that remained horsed and able to fight, some 3,000 under the command of Elfhelm, cool, should waylay their west road against the enemy that was in Anorion. Anorion is the Druidan? Anorion. Yeah, okay. Anorion. And at once swift riders were sent out to gather what news they could northward, and eastwards from Osgiliath and the road to Minas Morgul. And when they had reckoned up all their strength and taken thought for the journeys, they should make and the roads they should choose, Imrahil suddenly laughed aloud. Surely, he cried, this is the greatest jest in all the history of Gondor, that we should ride with 7,000, scarce as many as the vanguard of its army in the days of its power, to assail the mountains and the impenetrable gate of the Black Land. So might a child threaten a mail-clad knight with a bow of string and a green willow. If the Dark Lord knows so much as you say, Mithrandir, he will not rather smile than fear. Will he not rather smile than fear? And with his little finger crush us like a fly that tries to sting him. No, he will try to trap the fly and take the sting, said Gandalf. And there are names among us that are worth more than 1,000 mail-clad knights apiece. No, he will not smile. Neither shall we, said Aragorn. If this be the jest, then it is too bitter for laughter. Nay, it is the last move in a great jeopardy. And for one side or the other, it will bring the end of the game. Then he drew Anduril and held it up glittering in the sun. You shall not be sheathed again until the last battle is fought, he said. Dang! Dang. All right, Aragorn. Anduril is just out there in full glory now. Aragorn's. This is interesting. Yeah, I'm not meaning it like that. That is a really cool ending. Yeah, this is a great dialogue chapter. I mean, it's all dialogue. Every once in a while he breaks something with like a little bit of, not like a little bit of dialogue, but just like a dialogue chapter. And they're some of my favorite chapters that he has. Honestly, I think the dialogue chapters are my favorite, which is weird. Like less action, just let me have the characters talking about their stories and their tales. Like Conspiracy en Masse is one of my favorite chapters. Probably still my favorite. And then what was the chapter when they just when they finally met up with Merry and Pippin again, right at right at the other, what is that chapter called? Flotsam and Jetsam. Yeah, Flotsam and Jetsam. And then the Council of Elrond is just all dialogue. Those dialogue chapters really are so good. Yeah, the dialogue is really completely new to me. I know all the action, but the dialogue is just so excellent. This is Middle-earth roulette for sure. The next chapter of the Black Gate opens. Why don't you guys come in? Take a load off. Get a little bit of tea. Hang out for a little bit. Let's just have a chat. We have one chapter till we're done with book 5. That's crazy. Man, that went fast. I'm actually sad that I'm going to be in book 6. But I also cannot wait to get back to Frodo's tale. I am so excited. I love Frodo and Sam's tale. What's up, guys? Yeah, you're my neighbors. I brought some pie. Some good lines. Someone, Michael, you said that there was a line in here that Gimli says about Aragorn. He said a few. There was one that I remember. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. But where was that one? Or were you just ripping me? Mordor is a good vacation spot. Mighty indeed was Aragorn that day. Lo, all the Black Fleet was in his hands, and he chose the greatest ships to be his own. And he went up into it, and he let sound a great concourse of trumpets taken from the enemy, and the shadow host withdrew to the shore. There they stood silent, hardly to be seen, save for a red gleam in their eyes that caught the glare of the ships that were burning. And Aragorn spoke in a loud voice to the dead men. Yeah, it was Captain Fantastic. Captain Fantastic was such a good movie. You do see his ween in that movie, though. That was a great movie. Oh, my gosh. Wow, that was a good chapter. Honestly, I need to reread that chapter a few times just to, piece things together. Because there was so much that happened in that chapter. It was like the Council of Elrond chapter where there's 5 different things that I can talk about. So I'll probably just do those in just general, broad brush strokes. Redevelopment potential in the first ring of the city. Yeah, there's not really any bad chapters. Except, which isn't bad, the Old Forest. That was Tolkien in the beginning just saying, he was telling his editors, I just want to write a chapter that is all descriptions of trees. That is Tolkien's favorite chapter. And his editors were like, come on, are you kidding me? But I still remember my essay on that chapter was kind of fun, though, because it's he was writing that so you feel like you're kind of caught in the mix. I'm really excited to reread all this about Gimli held to the road by the will and love of Aragorn. Where is that sentence? Does Legolas say that sentence or does Gimli say that sentence? That's in the beginning. I like when they talk about Legolas goes, for all those who come and to know him come to love him after his own fashion, even the cold maiden of the Rohirrim. Oh, here it is. His sentences before that. Not willingly, said Gimli, for upon that road I was put to shame. Gimli, Glóin's son, who had deemed himself more tough than men, and hardier under earth than any elf. But neither did I prove, and I was held to the road only by the will of Aragorn. Huh. Hey, we got 10 out of 10 shots. We're doing a trivia night. I need to pull off of some good lines. Lizzie has a bunch of lines that she saved in her book that are her favorite. We could do like a bunch of those. As soon as we finish, we'll do this. As soon as we finish book 6, we'll do a trivia night. Nice, we got 10 out of 10. Let's go. It's a big day. It's a big day. Pumped, guys. I'm pumped. What is literally called The Magic of the Wizard's Dream? No way. He had a band, a metal band. Yeah, we'd probably do it on an app or something like that. I think you can do it on an app. I'll figure that out. Well, there's probably some website we can do that on, and everyone just like logs on, and then it would like tally what your scores are or something like that. I think it'd be so fun. I'm actually pretty pumped to do that. So I'll figure out how to do that, and then we'll do it. And in between book 6, it'll probably take like another week. So I'll do the Blackgate Opens, and then we'll be done with book 5, and then I'll read that. Oh, and then Legolas goes, and by the love of him also. And I was held to the road only by the will of Aragorn, and by the love of him also. For all those who come to know him come to love him after his own fashion, even the cold maiden of the Rohirrim. That's a great line. Oh my gosh. This is a chapter where I actually don't know how many essays I'm going to write about. I'll probably do the Blackgate Opens next weekend again, because I really like weekend reads. They're kind of like more chill. I think I have maybe more time. And I could do it at a more convenient time. Like the middle of the afternoon, my time is convenient for people on the West Coast and then people in Europe too. Maybe not super convenient. Like if you're in Asia, it's probably not super convenient for you. But I think most people more people from Europe and the Americas are following this channel. Do a trivia night in the Old Norse. Oh, Kahoot. You could probably do it on that. It'd be kind of fun. Maybe I could pull off. There's got to be some like. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Maybe we'll just do all Lord of the Rings trivia, just up till from book 1 to book 5, and then we'll save some of the other stuff for later. That'd be kind of fun. I'll try to find some good stuff. Discord movie nights. That's fun. Yeah, I think weekends kind of work best for everyone. Yeah, Nemo. I'm sorry, dude. No convenience for anyone in the Asian countries and the Aussies, the Oceania countries. Have a good night. Have a good night. What was my question I was asking before? I don't know. I totally forgot. What a good chapter, though. Oh, essays. I have like 4 or 5. So it'll probably be this week, and then next weekend I'll do the Blackgate Opens reading. And we'll be done with book 5. But I don't know. This is one of those chapters where I could either write 20 small essays or like 2 small ones and like 4 or 5 big ones. I always tend to go toward the big ones rather than the small ones, because I like more. It makes my thoughts a bit more complete. But I don't know. We'll figure it out. But there's some essays that are definitely going to come out of this one. Like the Nimrodel and Amroth and Emerheal thing is the most interesting to me. That was a fun little tangent at the beginning. I mean, we talked for the first half hour on the stream about that. It could potentially be Saturday, but maybe. I don't know. Sundays just does work really well for me and for a lot of other people. I kind of like Sundays. But if I can, maybe I'll do a weekend, or maybe I'll do like one reading. Maybe in the book 6, we'll like vary up some of the readings. Oh, you're going on vacation on Sunday? No. Yeah, I'm gonna go walk my dog now. He's been begging for a walk for hours. So, everyone, thanks for joining me on this stream. This was a great chapter. I'm very excited. I got some essays obviously coming out. We got an essay tomorrow, but then I gotta write the rest of the essays for this chapter, and then we'll publish those, and then I will read the next chapter, the last chapter of book 5, which is crazy. But thanks for joining, everyone. I really appreciate having you guys on and just watching me read and experience this for the first time. It is the most fun thing ever. I love just hanging out with you guys and chatting. And yeah, it's beautiful weather out right now. It's like a little chilly, but it's also getting dark because it's daylight savings time, and daylight savings time is dumb. But have a great weekend, guys. Have a great rest of your Sunday, or I don't think it's Monday anywhere, but if it's Monday, have a great Monday. It might be Monday in Aussie land. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Everyone, as always, Galadriel bids you goodbye. And everyone say goodbye to Wes. He's just chilling on the couch. He's been so patient. Have a good night, guys. As always, thanks. See you guys later.